What is up? My name is Brandon Silvers, and I look up the sporting events you need to watch every week so you don't have to. This is for the week of Thursday, March 26th through Wednesday, April 1st. As always, if you want to read it and you want it directly in your inbox every Thursday morning, head on over to brandonsilvers.com and subscribe for my free newsletter. All right, Thursday, March 26th. Major League Baseball season is here. Pittsburgh Pirates at New York Mets, 1:15 p.m. Eastern Time on NBC. Paul Skeens will be the opening day starter for the Pirates in the Big Apple, to the surprise of absolutely nobody. Pittsburgh has made just 3 postseason appearances in Skeens' lifetime, so odds are the stakes of his starts will begin to nosedive quickly, but the reigning NL Cy Young winner is the favorite to win it again, and if Pittsburgh does happen to make the playoffs, he could take home the NL MVP award too. That would be the baseball equivalent of what his girlfriend Livy Dunn has, done by landing a role in Fox's Baywatch reboot and being featured in this year's Sports Illustrated swimsuit issue. Later that day, men's college basketball, the 9 seed Iowa Hawkeyes take on the 4 seed Nebraska Cornhuskers at 7:30 p.m. Eastern Time on TBS. This is for all you basketball connoisseurs. That counts as humor in the Midwest. This has the potential to be the most exciting Sweet 16 matchup. They split the 2 regular season matchups, with one going to overtime. Iowa is playing for its first Elite 8 appearance since blowing a 16-point halftime lead to UNLV in 1987. Nebraska had never won an NCAA tournament game before this year. It will be infinitely better than when they play each other in football. And you might as well stay up for more men's college basketball. The 3 seed Illinois Fighting Illini taking on the 2 seed Houston Cougars at 10:05 p.m. Eastern Time on TBS. Some of the best freshman guards in a class of great freshman guards face off with a chance to go to the Elite 8 on the line. Illinois guard Keaton Wagler wasn't supposed to be this good this soon, but he's burst onto the scene as one of the smoothest scorers in the country. Cougars guard Kingston Flemings probably was supposed to be here. Literally, too. The game is in Houston. And he's awesome himself. Can he get a W in H-Town, or will Wagler and the Fighting Illini silence the home crowd? Friday, March 27th, women's college basketball, 6 seed Notre Dame Fighting Irish taking on the 2 seed Vanderbilt Commodores at 2:30 p.m. Eastern Time on ESPN. Go ahead and leave work after lunch. Despite an underwhelming regular season, the Fighting Irish have come on late to make their 5th straight Sweet 16 under Coach Ivey. That's the good news. The bad news, they've lost all 5. Meanwhile, Vandy's dream season continues as they're here for the first time since 2009. Did I mention we get a showdown between Hannah Hidalgo and Michaela Blakes, and they are 2 of the top 3 scorers in the nation? Well, I just did. Then, men's college basketball, 4 seed Alabama Crimson Tide versus the 1 seed Michigan Wolverines at 7:35 p.m. Eastern Time on TBS. I am very firmly in the Nate Oates is a scumbag camp. I'm right about this as well. There's a significant chance we get to see his team get their teeth kicked in, and as a result, reaction shots of Nate looking miserable. Who would want to miss that? Then finishing up the night with more women's college basketball, the 3 seed Duke Blue Devils taking on the 2 seed LSU Tigers at 10 p.m. Eastern Time on ESPN. A little double revenge game action back when these two played in December. Flau'jae Johnson was out to get back at Duke coach Kara Lawson. What'd Lawson do to Big Four? Well, she benched her for both the semifinals and finals of the 2025 FIBA Women's AmeriCup. Now, Flau'jae had just had a 22-point performance in the quarterfinals, but it's worth noting that she had averaged just 2 points on 3 of 21 shooting in the 4 games prior to that breakout performance and was playing behind the aforementioned Michaela Blakes. As LSU does, this was built up into this big thing headed into that December matchup that the Tigers won relatively easily. However, Duke has been much better since then, so this is Lawson's chance to reverse the revenge. Can she do it? Saturday, March 28th, women's college basketball, 3 seed Louisville Cardinals versus the 2 seed Michigan Wolverines at 12:30 p.m. Eastern Time on ABC. This one's like looking in the mirror. 2 sophomore-heavy squads that are incredibly talented while also having question marks about their ability to close out games. This sounds like common sense, but neither is a great 3-point shooting team, so whoever scores the most efficiently is going to win, If the matchup feels familiar, it's because they played in the 2022 Elite Eight. Then, more women's college basketball. 5-seed Kentucky Wildcats taking on the 1-seed Texas Longhorns at 3 p.m. Eastern Time on ABC. I set out with the goal in mind of offering a diverse selection of viewing options for you this week since there's so much going on, but the best I could do is alternate between men's and women's college basketball games. Consider this part of the pre-morning phase for college basketball season as a whole. Kentucky needs to figure out a way to slow down Madison Booker, who is coming off a 40-point performance. They're also going to want to score more than the 53 points they put up in their loss to the Longhorns back in early February. Oh, and this game is also going to be in Fort Worth, Texas. Good luck. Finishing up Saturday with more men's college basketball. Elite Eight coverage begins at 6:09 p.m. Eastern Time on CBS. We don't know who's in it, but I guarantee it's going to be fun. Sunday, March 29th, women's college basketball. Elite Eight coverage begins at 1 p.m. Eastern Time on ABC. Double check your local listings because they're playing this start time close to the vest for some reason, but there should be a game at 1 p.m. and 3 p.m. And hey, for all my March Madness overdosing, at least I haven't asked you to double up on any games this week, so I got that going for me. Then, men's college basketball Elite Eight coverage begins at 2:15 p.m. Eastern Time on CBS. Damn, my bad. All right, how about this? NBA action, New York Knicks at the Oklahoma City Thunder, 7:30 p.m. Eastern Time on NBC. Switch it up for you a little bit. After trading second-year guard Jared McCain to the Thunder, noted dickhead Daryl Morey said, quote, "I'm quite confident we were selling high." Pretty unnecessary thing to say about a second-year player who hadn't quite gotten back into a rhythm after suffering a couple of injuries. Wouldn't you know it, McCain looks like a much better version of himself coming off the bench for the defending champions. So yeah, way to give the best team in the league 12 points per game off the bench on 43% shooting from three, Daryl. Also, be on the lookout for Danny Foxworth, who will be at the game according to my sources, assuming TSA lines aren't 3 days long. While you're at it, head on over to his YouTube channel, Danny Foxworth 843, and check out all the cool stuff he's doing. Monday, March 30th. Women's college basketball Elite Eight coverage begins at 7 p.m. Eastern Time on ESPN. Congratulations. You have made it to the final college basketball game of the Screenshots week. Well, college basketball games, because there's supposed to be two played tonight. Enjoy. Tuesday, March 31st, International Men's Soccer, Portugal versus the United States Men's National Team, 7 p.m. Eastern Time on TNT. Cristiano Ronaldo is going to miss this one with a hamstring injury, but don't worry, there will be plenty of star power on hand because I'm going to go see this one. So watch, see if you can see me. Then later, Major League Baseball, New York Yankees at the Seattle Mariners, 9:40 p.m. Eastern Time on TBS. Fresh off of disappointing this country by losing the World Baseball Classic in joyless fashion, Aaron Judge and Cal Raleigh face off in a rematch of last season's AL MVP race. They are just 2 of 7 players ever to hit 60 homers in a season, so tune in if that's your thing. And to wrap up the Screenshots week, Wednesday, April 1st, NBA action, Boston Celtics at the Miami Heat, 7:30 p.m. Eastern Time on ESPN. Enough time has passed that I feel safe talking about Bam's 83-point game. First of all, the fact that Bam did it is a reflection on the state of today's NBA. He's a fantastic player, but not known for his scoring, and certainly not a guy you would expect to be mentioned with someone like Kobe or Wilt. However, if you're going to be mentioned among other mononymous people, going by Bam certainly helps. Also, he's probably the perfect player to do this. He's by all accounts a nice guy and a good player, just not good enough to be super polarizing. I remember thinking Luka or Joel Embiid was going to do it when they dropped 70 in the same week. Can you imagine the discourse that would take place if they did that, especially the way that Bam did it? I'd have to stay off the internet forever. Anyways, I would very much like him to get 84 against the Celtics, so tune in just in case he does. All right, that will do it for this week. Again, you want this in your inbox so you can read it and reference it whenever you want. You don't even have to listen to my voice. Head on over to brandonsilvers.com and subscribe to my newsletter for free. Also, wherever you're watching and listening this, you want some more in-depth March Madness coverage, watch and listen to my March Madness coverage. I do the men's side and the women's side. Enjoy that. Thank you again for watching, listening, rating, subscribing, reviewing, and sharing. And I'll see you next week.